Edmonds College 8th Annual Veterans Day celebration. I'm retired Army Colonel Gregory Hinton, Vice President of Finance Operations here at Edmonds College. A year ago, none of us could have predicted or imagined the turn of events that brought us here today. With the impacts of COVID-19, budget cuts, furloughs, and the past year events of social injustice with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and many others, I know many are suffering emotionally and mentally fatigued. I thank each of you today for joining us virtually and continuing to show valor, and hope next year to be with you again in person. The election just passed a week ago. During my recent combat deployments, local nationals would often ask how I felt about the current president of the United States at that time. I would constantly reply, Charlie Mike. President Reagan's proclamation, "Tear down that wall," helped lead to a unified Germany. President George W. Bush passed the National Defense Authorization Act of 2008 that reduced the retirement age for reservists and guardsmen from 60 years old with credit for each 90 days of active duty or mobilization. As Edmonds College continues building on any time and anywhere during our remote operation and applies the recently awarded Title III grant, we can reflect on President Clinton's expanding the work-study program and increasing the Pell Grant Maximum Award, while with E-Rate and Technology Literacy Challenge Fund help connect schools to the internet. With Michelle Obama's words of "when they go low, we go high," despite the challenges we have been facing like our resilient veterans at Edmonds, we continue with confidence in Charlie Mike. We continue our mission of educating students with a culture of care, creating thus, strengthening our diverse community, providing educational opportunities, helping students access career opportunities and support student success, and encourage innovation, service, and lifetime learning. Shortened in 2 words, Charlie Mike. We encourage you, if you are comfortable in doing so, to leave a comment or like on this video in the space provided. This year, as we share perhaps the greatest challenge to face our nation, we felt it was important to come together and preserve this proud tradition we have created together. We miss the company of all of you and the support you have shared with our veterans. This year, we will present you with stories from people who demonstrate valor day in and day out, and you may know every day around campus, or will see again when we return to campus. These people have stepped forward and put themselves in harm's way so that our great nation, our way of life, and the freedom we hold dear shall not. As Abraham Lincoln once said, "Before a battered but not broken nation healing from deep wounds, perish from the face of this earth." At Edmonds College, our doors are open to all, and we welcome more than 200 student veterans to campus each quarter. We've also been proudly designated as a military-friendly school and expanded our Veterans Resource Center several years ago to serve the needs of our student veterans and their families. Today, I am honored to introduce our Edmonds College President, Dr. Amit B. Singh.
Thank you for joining us for our 8th annual Veterans Day ceremony to honor those who have served in our armed forces. I would like to express my gratitude to veterans in our community, as well as the 200+ Edmonds College students, staff, and faculty who have served over the years. Our college is stronger because of the presence of our student and employee veterans. They bring important life experience and determination to the classroom and the workplace. I would like to especially thank those in our Veterans Resource Center who work in close partnership across our campus, as well as with veteran service organizations in the community to find new ways to serve veterans and military-connected students during this time. Through the effort of VRC, student veteran enrollment and persistence has remained strong despite the challenges of remote learning. We are also very proud of our student veterans who continue to show grit and determination, which they hone during their time in the service to continue with their education despite our current challenges. I wish you and your loved ones good health, a speedy recovery to those impacted by COVID-19, and I assure you we'll get through this together as a community. Thank you.
We thank you for your kind words and support, Dr. Singh. For those unfamiliar with military culture, it's a long-time standing tradition to begin any ceremony by posting the colors, playing the national anthem, and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise in body or spirit where you are as the Naval Station Everett Honor Guard posts the flag.
Colors, post. Arms. Present. Arms.
Now Edmonds College premier jazz choir, Sound Station, will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the free.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We would like to start by recognizing a few special groups of people. First, we acknowledge that we are guests on Snows or Snohomish tribe land. Thank you for allowing Edmonds College to make a place of higher learning on your homelands and giving us a place to hold ceremonies such as this. We lift our hands to you as the past, present, and future caretakers of this land. Next, we acknowledge everyone currently serving the armed forces. Those are the people who have taken an oath to defend what we all hold dear. There's no greater calling, nor any higher possible sacrifice. We acknowledge anyone who is a veteran. This group has done their duty, giving those that serve today the foundation to keep our freedoms and way of life safe and secure. Additionally, we'd like to acknowledge those in service and demonstrating valor, but who wear a different uniform. Those in the medical field on the front lines, battling the pandemic we know as COVID-19. And yes, our faculty. Yes, teachers are in service. Teachers and faculty are the ones that shape the minds of young men and women, and often the conduit to tap into our leadership potential before the student realizes it himself. Next, anyone who is a family member of a veteran or someone currently serving. These brave persons are the reason those in uniform do what we do. They watch us go and wait for us to come home, perhaps the hardest job of all. Last and perhaps most importantly, we acknowledge those who have made the supreme sacrifice for our freedom and the family members they have left behind. They may be gone from us physically, but they will never be forgotten. We remember their courage and selflessness and are inspired by it in our daily lives, especially today as we face to overcome our greatest challenge together. We're honored to present remarks from Representative Rick Larsen. Representative Larsen is United States Representative for Washington's 2nd Congressional District and has served in the House of Representatives since 2000. He is a member of the House Armed Service Committee, as well as the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee.
Hello, I'm U.S. Representative Rick Larsen. And although we can't be together on Veterans Day because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's still important to honor the service and the sacrifice of the women and men who've served in the armed forces, in the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard, as well as our National Guard and reserves. especially the more than 57,000 veterans who call the Washington State 2nd District home. Veterans like you strengthen Western Washington's communities through your leadership and your advocacy. Since it was first observed in 1919 as Armistice Day to commemorate the end of World War I, Veterans Day has become an important annual commemoration. In 1926, the U.S. Congress set forth the purpose of the annual commemoration on November 11th by saying, the recurring anniversary of the state should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations. In 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, Congress changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day to honor veterans of all wars. And over the years, communities across Western Washington have honored those who have served the country in uniform. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. Tens of thousands of Washingtonians heroically served in uniform during World War II, including technician 5th grade James Jim Okubo of Bellingham, Washington. Okubo, a first-generation Japanese American, was forced to relocate to a California internment camp with his family while a student at Western Washington University. He later volunteered as a medic with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 2000 for heroism in action near Bifontaine, France in 1944. Veterans like Jim and the Washingtonians who answered the call to duty have helped keep our nation free and hopeful about the possibility of peace in the world. And I also want to acknowledge service members and Washington National Guard members who've been integral to the state's COVID-19 response and recovery efforts. Thank you all for the incredible work that you have done and will continue to do to support your communities and keep Washingtonians safe during the pandemic. You deserve the best care and you deserve the support, all the support that our nation can provide. To all the veterans today here in our state and around the country, thank you as well. To everyone who continues to serve in the military, thank you as well. And to all the families who are supporting these folks, thank you very much for your service. And I want to thank you again for joining me today, and I look forward to commemorating Veterans Day next year in person with all of you. Thank you.
We are thankful to Representative Larson and his staff for taking time out of their busy schedule to create the video honoring veterans that you have just seen. This year, in keeping with our theme of Valor Among Us, we would like to present you with some veterans who work and study on our campus. They include staff and students who, before they were part of the Triton family, once wore the uniform of our armed forces. Their faces may seem familiar from the campus, either as co-workers or classmates. Their stories, however, you may not have heard. We're hoping in the following video, you will gain a better sense of what inspired them to serve our great country and the value they bring to our campus through their leadership, as well as their diverse life experiences.
So please tell us your name, branch, and length of service and what brought you to Edmonds Community College. All right, so my name is Erin Edgeworth. I was in the U.S. Navy, did 5 years active duty. I was over in Bahrain and Japan. I came to Edmonds because I wanted to get back into school. I really hadn't been able to do college when I was active duty. The job was pretty demanding and I didn't want to risk getting bad grades, so I didn't do any college and active duty. But when I got out, I decided I wanted to go back.
My name is Freddie Vega and I'm the Outreach and Recruitment Specialist here at Edmonds College. I served my time in the United States Air Force back in 1999. I have moved so many times since I was honorably discharged from Holloman Air Force Base, the home of the stealth fighters. I ended up in Edmonds College back in March of 2020 after living in Spokane for 5 years, where I got my bachelor's and my 2 master's degrees at Eastern Washington University. After one more move, my husband and I decided to move to the Northwest, so that's when I began that job search. After working at Eastern Washington University, I knew I loved working with students, so I started looking for colleges to work, and I fell in love with Edmonds College. I was so lucky, but yet so thrilled because they hired me doing exactly what I like to do, helping students.
Hi, my name is Fernando Moratala. I'm a former U.S. Marine Corporal. I served for 4 years honorably from 2003 to 2007, and originally I came to Edmonds College as a part-time security officer, and I have been here now for 10 years, and I'm happy to have made this my home.
My name is Brett Crawford. I served in the United States Coast Guard on active duty for 10 years and about a month, from November 2003 to about January of 2014. What brought me to Edmonds was I've always really been interested in helping others, and I found out that Edmonds has a really great social and human services program, which I started pursuing and have been pursuing ever since, 2 years and counting at this point.
Why did you choose that branch of the military? I chose the Navy because they got back to me first.
I chose to be in the Air Force for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is because I knew that was my dad's dream. My dad was in the Army and he fought in the Korean War. And one of the things he regretted is not joining the Air Force. And when I told him I was going to join, it was so exciting for him. And I knew I was doing something good, because that leads me to my second reason why I joined, is because I was not living a good life. I was in the wrong path, and the military straightened me out, and that was the best decision I ever made.
I chose to serve in the U.S. Marines because of a few reasons, partly because of the uniform, and also because I knew I was going to be serving, and I wanted to be a part of, in my opinion, the best branch in the military.
That's a pretty good question, actually. I think a lot of it was growing up in this area. We had a boat and going out in the Sound and always seeing the coasties go cruising around out there. And I ended up talking to a recruiter a month before graduation, my senior year of high school, and ended up signing up that day. I wanted to help people. And I thought the preservation of life and property was definitely something worth signing up for.
Was enlisting in that branch of service a calling, a job, or an opportunity? So, when I graduated high school, I wanted to get out of Everett. I didn't want to stick around. I wanted to go travel. I wanted to go see the world. And the Navy was my chance for that. And so that was a big reason why I joined, was so that I could travel and see the world. And some of it was a calling. I've had some relatives who've served. My aunt was in the Navy, and I had a great uncle who served in World War II in the Navy. So it was a little bit of both.
Enlisting in the United States Air Force was not only an opportunity, but it was also a calling. I know that I needed to do something different. This was going to get me in the right path, get me started in what I needed to do in my life. And I felt like it was the perfect timing. I needed to join and do something bigger and better with my life. And I know the only way to do that is by having the military behind my back, getting me started, getting me motivated, getting me where I need to be. And I found that opportunity, and I'm glad I took it.
To me, serving was a calling. I wanted to serve already when I was in high school. Partly because I'm an immigrant, and when I came here to the United States, the U.S. gave me everything I needed and more. It gave me a lot of opportunity, which I would have never had back in my home country. So one way for me to pay back some of that was to serve. And so during high school, I wanted to do something for my country. But it became more of a calling after 9/11.
I think for me personally, it was more of an opportunity for a couple different reasons. It was an opportunity for me to prove to myself that I could do it. Believe it or not, I was kind of wild and undisciplined in my younger years. And also too, it gave me an opportunity to be part of something that was bigger than myself, be part of an organization that really helped people and prided themselves on teamwork.
What did you learn during your enlistment period, and how have you used those lessons at Edmonds College? So, one thing that I learned when I was active duty was just how to stick things out, because when you're in active duty, if something sucks or if something's really hard, you can't quit. You can't say, screw this, I'm done, and walk away. No, you gotta see it through to the end. And I've applied that to my college studies, and it's definitely paid off. It pays off in the end. It sucks in the moment, but it all comes together and is worth it in the end.
I learned a lot during the military. I learned to appreciate my Latin culture and embrace it because there was a sense of belonging with the friends I hung out with. I also learned to have discipline and be well organized. Additionally, I gained leadership and a sense of self-worth. I gained passion for always wanting to do more for my country and my community. All this passion, motivation, dedication, and hardworking abilities are all lived experience that I bring to Edmonds College.
I learned about discipline, a lot of discipline. I learned about working together, how to accomplish our goals together and not as a single individual. I learned to be resourceful. I learned that military grade is not really that good either. But I think the one thing that I've applied a lot here at Edmonds College and that I carry on is how to work together as a team to accomplish our goals.
I think for me personally, it's tenacity, because things are often going to get difficult and you're going to face multiple challenges, whether it's in the military, whether it's in day-to-day life, or I know that going to school for the first time, it was hard, and holding on to that determination to finish something is what I really learned.
Our theme this year is Valor Amongst Us. What does valor mean to you? To me, valor means having the courage to do something that is difficult or dangerous.
To me, I believe valor is defined as someone being bold or brave to face obstacles. So when I see our theme as Valor Amongst Us, I feel like it's the ability to stand up for yourself and face any challenges, regardless of how difficult a task may be. So in other words, I would be that person who would stand out from a group and be that first one to face the issues and or the obstacles that are in our way. I would take the first hit to solve an issue just so I can make it easier for the rest of our team.
I think that valor is associated a lot with battlefields. And while that is true, there is a lot of valor in a battlefield. I also believe there's a lot of valor in our everyday lives. You see valor every day, even here. We see valor when somebody stands up to someone when they're doing something wrong. We see valor when somebody stands up for what they believe in. We see valor in our students. We see valor in our faculty. We see valor in our staff.
I think that we see it every day. Regardless if it's something that's going on in the world, any number of challenges. And to know that it might be hard, and to just keep moving forward is what valor means to me.
What is something you want our audience to know about your service, about how we treat veterans, or about anything in general? So something I'd like the audience to know is that overall it's been a pretty positive experience here at Edmonds Community College. I've never had any issues with getting my credit certified for taking classes. The Veterans Resource Center has always been very helpful and very welcoming. So yeah, so far it's been a pretty positive experience.
I would like the audience to know that being a veteran isn't always easy. You never know the veterans' past or what they have been through. Veterans sacrifice their time and even their lives to serve so the rest of the nation doesn't have to. I think for the most part, most people treat other veterans good, but there are some bad apples out there that think some veterans feel entitled. I don't think that is fair assessment. I love my fellow military veterans, and I will always be a person that they can confide on. I could only ask that everyone do the same. I personally don't need anything, but I know my fellow veterans might. Reach out to them and tell them you are there for them. Also, I wanted to reach out to all employers out there. sacrifice a position and offer opportunities for veterans. They did it for you. Or if you have a platform of some sort of leadership, help create some resources for veterans or help guide them to the ones that you may know of. Just reach out and say something.
What I would like the audience to know? I think it's more what I would like the audience to do. On average, we have approximately 20 veteran suicides per day. And quite honestly, that's 20 too many. What I would like for the audience to do is to reach out to a veteran, someone you know who might need to hear a friendly voice or see a friendly face. Talk to them. We're all going through a lot right now because of COVID. So if that veteran was already going through problems, going through struggles, imagine how they are now with COVID added. It's just more and more stress on them. So what I would like the audience to do is to please seek out a veteran, reach out to them, see how they're doing. Like I said, just hearing a friendly voice or seeing a friendly face might be enough for them to be able to open up. Thank you.
Whenever I'm thanked for my service, I always sit there and I think, I'm like, I should be thanking you. I had the privilege of wearing, the nation's cloth, all around the world for my time on active duty. And I would really want everyone to know that while I understand being thanked, it was 100% my privilege.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our spot. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarcely heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt sunrise, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our charge with our foe. From failing hands we throw the torch, be it yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with those who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Now we honor our military veterans, students, family, and friends of our college staff and faculty. The video was produced by Marine veteran Fernando Moratello, who works at the Office of Safety and Security in the Armed Forces Medley. It's performed by Edmonds College Sound Station.
Air Force.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Battle boys, give it a gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live and fade, we'll go down in flame. For nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Army.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cannons that are strong.
Today I'd like to honor Papa, Grandpa Dave, Uncle Steve, Uncle Mark, and my cousin Tyler, all of whom served with either the U.S. Marine Corps or the U.S. Navy. I love you all, and thank you for your service.
There are so many veterans in my life that I would like to recognize individually, but I only have a few seconds in this video. Thank you so much for all the sacrifice you've made for us.
My folks raised 9 children, 7 boys and 2 girls. Of the 7 boys, 5 of us served in uniform, as did our father. It wasn't just our duty, it was a privilege to serve our country.
Just wanted to say thank you to all of our veteran students on campus, and then also for those who are serving and those who have served. Thank you so much for your sacrifice and the example that you set for us all. Thank you so much, and happy Veterans Day.
I'd like to thank my dad, Lou Matthews, who served in the Army from 1969 to 1978. I love you.
Thank you for your service, Roger Lee Zink, from your family. Semper Fi.
To all of our veterans, we appreciate your service and sacrifices. Thank you so much for being part of our college community.
I'd like to thank my wife and my family who stood by me and supported me through 20 years in the military and 11 years as a civilian. I love you guys, and I couldn't have done any of this without you.
Thankful today for the service of my dad, Norm Ogden, Air National Guard.
All the members of my family. I'm very blessed to have 3 sets and sides of family who have a long history with our esteemed military. Deeply proud to be associated with all of you, and this day is yours, particularly to my dad. Thank you.
The Edmonds College Foundation would like to thank our board member volunteers, Steve Pennington and Dale Torito, for their service to our country and their commitment to the students at Edmonds College. Thank you.
To all the veterans joining us during our 8th annual Veterans Day ceremony. Today, I have the honor and privilege of saying thank you for all that you've given and for the road that you've paved for future generations of veterans. And to all of our student veterans that attend Edmonds College, your presence and life experience makes this campus such a supportive learning environment. Wishing you the best in all aspects of your life this Veterans Day. Truly, thank you for your service.
Thank you to all the brave men and women who have served in our military services. In my family, we know military personnel in every branch, and I'm very proud of that. So thank you to the parents, the spouses, and the family members, but most of all, thank you to all military service personnel. You are wonderful, and we appreciate all that you're doing. Take care and be safe.
Thank you to our students, employees, families, and friends who have served our country.
That's our program for this year. We hope you may have learned something about our brave, diverse, and professional men and women who have served and continue to place themselves in harm's way on our behalf. They come together from our communities, our country, as well as countries, and despite their different backgrounds, come together to exemplify the statement, one team, one fight. We also want every person who has ever served our country in the military to know how deeply we appreciate your service and sacrifice. We invite all of you, once social distance allows, to come and visit us at World's Finest Veterans Resource Center in Linwood Hall. Meet some of our student veterans, enjoy a cup of real Navy coffee, and some good times.